This video is sponsored by the subscribe button, as we are going for 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Hello there, welcome to the channel, and today we're talking about everything that we know for LEGO Marvel in 2026, as well as the future of the theme going into the year and how to keep our expectations in check for movies like Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is releasing next year, and of course the very anticipated Avengers Doomsday. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know your thoughts in the comments, as well as by liking this video. And let's jump into a quick recap of everything that we know for the January sets, because there are quite a few sets and I feel like some of these really do go under the radar. Starting with the 30725 Spider-Man vs. Anti-Venom Heist, this one coming in at $5.31 pieces. It should be a $5 polybag. It's probably not going to be anything else, and it's a decent way to get an anti-venom for an affordable cost, so I think a lot of fans will appreciate it for that. And maybe this leads us to something that we'll see anti-venom perhaps in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and LEGO's trying to get him into as many sets as possible before he appears in the film, but that is just a theory. Next, we have a couple of Spidey and His Amazing Friends sets, starting with the 11206 Spidey on his motorcycle versus Rhino coming in at $10, the 11207 Spidey underwater vehicles coming in at $35 US, and the final Spidey and His Amazing Friends set, that is the 11208 Team Spidey Pirate Ship coming in at a $50 price tag. And I'll be honest, these sets, they don't really float my boat. They're not for me, but if you are a fan of the minifigures that are included, or if you have any younger children or siblings that are fans of these, I'm sure they're good sets. But I'll be honest, they don't interest me all that much, but I'm surprised that they've kept up this line for so long, and the TV show is apparently still running, so I think it's a popular theme, especially with the younger generation of LEGO fans, and I'm very interested to see how these continue to go on in the future. But next up, we have a much more exciting set with the 76334 Spider-Man vs. Sandman. Now, me, personally, I would say that this is probably my most hyped set for January of 2026, just because of the fact that this could potentially be based off of Spider-Man 3, and it would be our first Bully Maguire and a live action, well, not exactly our first live action Sandman, because we have the buildable character from January of 2024, but this would be our first, hopefully, live action minifigure version of Sandman, which I think a lot of fans would really appreciate, that LEGO is finally going back and covering those older movies that didn't get the appreciation from LEGO that they deserved back in the 2000s. So that one should cost $25, maybe just a couple of small side builds along with the main minifigures in that set. Next, we have the 76335 Ghost Rider Bike, a $10 set with 72 pieces, and this also not exactly for me. I'm not a huge Ghost Rider fan. I'm sure there are plenty of people who are very happy to get this minifigure for $10, but for me, that's not personally my thing, and I think he did appear in like a Mech bike as well just a couple years ago, so it's not like LEGO hasn't made him in a long time. Next, we have the 76363 Venomized Wolverine with Spider-Man car. Now, honestly, this is just kind of dumb in my opinion. I'm sure Venomized Wolverine has appeared somewhere in media. If you have seen it before, please let me know in the comments, but I feel like there are many better choices that LEGO could be doing. We've never gotten a symbiote suit, or, you know, the Spider-Man 3 suit in LEGO aside from a Comic-Con exclusive that is very expensive now, but yet we're getting Venomized Wolverine apparently. It really just doesn't make a ton of sense for the people who want to see LEGO make other things, more creative things, rather than just the Venomized slop that we've been getting for the past few years. Next, we have the 76337 Miles Morales Mech coming in at $15 with 135 pieces. This one's not for me, unfortunately. If this is based off the Spider-Verse movies, that might be a more likely pickup rather than if it's just comics based. But next, we have another mech here, the 76338 Spider-Man and Doc Ock mech coming in at $30 with 315 pieces. We saw this one about 5 years ago, I think, and if these mechs sell well, I'm not surprised LEGO continues to make them, but I just don't think that this is for me, and I think a lot of fans would agree, unless it's potentially based off the Insomniac games, which would be amazing. I don't think that's the case, but I think that would be really awesome to see. But then there's another set that pretty much nobody asked for, with the 76341 Buildable Groot coming in at $60, with 604 pieces. Now, there's a couple ways this could go. It's not a potted Groot, and we saw a baby Groot, but this is just Buildable Groot, so I'm assuming it's like the teenage version that we saw from Guardians of the Galaxy and Infinity War. So I think this is a this is just a set. It's going to exist. It's not something people have asked for, but it's not exactly the worst thing they could go with. But just as a buildable character and probably a minifigure on the side, it's not the most pleased. It's not going to please most fans. The next set might please more fans with the 76342 Daily Bugle coming in at $110 with 781 pieces. Now, this should be an expansion to the miniature modular building line that LEGO is said to be releasing next year. No, I'm sorry, not releasing. Continuing the line of mini modulars that we saw this past year with the January set, and then in the summer. And minifigure-wise, I think there's a lot of cool minifigures we could get, but given the fact that the UCS version or the 18+ version of the Daily Bugle is actually retiring at the end of 2025, means that a couple of those characters could probably end up passing down into the smaller version of the Daily Bugle. So if you missed out on the large version, which I highly recommend that set, it's an amazing set and one that looks great on my shelf. But if you did miss out on it, I wouldn't be surprised if there are at least a couple of minifigures from that set ended up being pushed down into this smaller Daily Bugle for just $110. There's also the 76343 Hulkbuster, this one coming in at $50 with 413 pieces. Now, I really hope this is not a Hulkbuster based off of Infinity War. We saw the last two Hulkbusters, at least the playset versions of the red Hulkbuster, were based off Infinity War, so I think that if this is based off Age of Ultron, that would be best. We haven't seen a playset version of that Age of Ultron Hulkbuster since 2015, as far as I can remember, so it would be really awesome to see a new version of that, maybe get a new Ultron minifigure, or LEGO could just reuse the one in the $130 Quinjet. And the final rumor January 2026 set is 76344 18+ Buildable Iron Man, with coming in at a price tag of $130, and it should have around 1,297 pieces. This one is just not everyone's ideal choice. I don't know how exactly they're going to do this at this scale. I mean, we have the busts already, we have the buildable characters, we've had the helmets, we had the UCS Hulkbuster, which could pretty much double as a large-scale Iron Man. So it's just very weird at this scale, this size. I am very concerned just if this is going to go into other themes as well. I don't think we need this, and it's just really a shelf filler in my opinion. I don't think this is going to be a great set for all the diehard Marvel fans unless you're a really big fan of Iron Man. However, I thought I would dive into what I expect for LEGO Marvel next year and really how to keep our expectations in check. Now, I know that myself included and other people have been asking for a lot more waves of sets for when movies actually release. I mean, the last Marvel movie was the Captain America Brave New World. That one got like one playset as well as one buildable Sam Wilson character and one Brickheads combo pack. That was honestly a very disappointing wave of sets for a movie that is used to get, we got a lot of sets for Captain America Civil War, and they were playsets with minifigures. This time we saw one extremely overpriced playset with that Red Hulk minifigure, and other than that, it was just an underwhelming wave of sets. We saw one set for the Marvels. We actually saw a decent amount of sets for the Eternals, but that movie was not a very popular movie, and the sets sort of flopped, and they're still very cheap on the aftermarket. So I'm hoping that LEGO sort of goes all out with the Spider-Man Brand New Day sets. There are a lot of leaks coming out about that movie. Hopefully we get a live-action Punisher minifigure, because that would be something that a lot of fans have been asking for a long time. Same with potentially seeing obviously we'll see the new suit of Spider-Man. I hope LEGO does that. And then any other characters that are in the movie. Scorpion, I believe, is in the movie. We're also getting Tombstone as another villain in the film of Brand New Day. So there's a lot of potential, and I hope we see at least 3 sets at 3 separate price points, potentially $50, $100, and $150. That would be, the ideal, plus a few polybags, maybe a Brickheads pack, and then even a battle pack. I wouldn't complain about a battle pack, but we need to see more information and trailers about the movie before we can fully speculate on what sets we could be getting, because Marvel's been getting a lot of good treatment from LEGO and far better than DC, so I think DC might be a lost cause to talk about, at least for now. And I hope that this would continue with future Marvel projects, because apparently we're getting X-Men movies sometime in the future, I think, or maybe they were scrapped. I'm not sure at this point, but Doomsday also has a lot of potential. I think LEGO will try their best to make a lot of sets on this, because it's going to be a very anticipated movie, very hyped, very marketed. So LEGO will probably go with a bunch of 18 plus sets, at least a few play sets, but I think the general audience is probably going to be the 18 plus older adult, as the LEGO was marketing for that movie, because it's probably going to be a pretty dark movie, and it's not going to be just a playful movie and a down-to-earth movie like Spider-Man Brand New Day. But that is about it for this video. I thought I would talk about all the rumored sets. I figured I would get a full guide out for everybody who's been, asking me, are there any more Marvel sets? No, unfortunately, for now, these are the only rumored Marvel sets for 2026, but I really hope we see more leaks soon, because this has been the same list for a little while, but this might be my final video about Marvel sets for a little bit, but we will have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for the support here on the channel over the past couple of weeks and in October. It's been amazing, and I'm so excited to keep making videos up until, we're going to get 2026 pictures, hopefully soon here, and then more summer 2026 rumors. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and goodbye.